Roderick. Okay. The simplicity here is stellar. This is fantastic. I think that the really neat thing here is that you've got, and I'll tell you what, before I was commenting on leave this closer up here, and I still think you possibly could, but I think, let's try to create some really good tight connection between the tagline and Mother Teresa. So what I would do is I would reduce the size of that, and I would place it right there. Take the alignment with that R right there, and just place it. Watch my cursor right there. See what I'm saying? Right there. And I love that you have Mother Teresa at the top of the composition, because the connotation, of course, on the top of the connotation, the speaking religiously, it's the sky. It's significant of heaven. Down here would be different, right? So that was a really good idea. Typographically, I think that there's a couple of things that we need to do here. Peace to all and good will look good. The kerning here it needs to be adjusted. Okay, look at you got a huge gap right there. These can all be tightened up. The space between the T and H is good, but that's too loose, that's too loose, that's too loose, and that's too loose. Let's close those down. Teresa, that's too loose, that's okay, that's too loose, and that's too loose. Close those down a little bit. The T, the rosary and the T, great idea, great idea. Simplicity is fantastic. That's why it's so strong. But it's too small. We can see, let me see if I can grab a straight edge here. I'm just going to grab the top of this right here and use it as a straight edge. So just pay attention to that right there. So you can see there's the bottom, and you can see, well, actually you're not, yeah, it's an illusion, but the point right now, the point of that cross is at the bottom of that baseline. And don't forget, remember what we called overshoot. This needs to be bigger because it'll reduce the illusion of looking so small. So I would increase the size of that right there, and watch that kerning right there too. Treat that like it's a T, not a cross, right? So you see what I'm saying? So other than that, I think it's good. I think that I would consider maybe using a different color blue instead of the black. Maybe even sample that blue right out of that headband and use it for your type. Okay, let's move to the back of the poster. Now, I think it's a good idea. The rosary is a good idea, but we don't have a whole lot of continuation from the front of the poster. It's easy to rectify that. Just duplicate that cross right there and use it right there. That way we have this continuation, and it'll create a nice harmony from the front of the page to the back of the page. Good visual consistency, good continuation, good concept continuation. It's a good idea. Okay, let's take a look at the type, and to do that, this is a good idea. I like that a lot. I think that's very, very clever. A couple of things we can do in here. I would use a different rosary. Let's get rid of that right there. Let's just get a basic rosary. Okay, without all of that embellishment there, it's got to go, and then just replace that cross with the cross from the front, as I said. That's a low resolution image. You do not want to use that. Don't find a high resolution image. You can see it's pixelated. So I would like you to be able to print this piece when that time comes. Okay, let's take a look at the timeline itself. And I think we got some inconsistencies here in the timeline. So it's okay that these are coming off like this, but I wouldn't leave the year right there. See, we've got all sorts of different kind of years like that. They all look different. 1979, that looks like it's distorted. Looks like it's been stretched. Looks totally different than that one. So what we'll do is and then we got different size years too. And the years are so small you can't even see them. What I would do is just use the line pointing to the rosary, and then place the year right up here. Okay, so 1928 right here, 1929 right here. Okay, this is center aligned. These are left aligned. This is too small. Okay, these all have to be consistent. Okay, but watch your alignment. You can leave the. Okay, I would not use that typeface. It's too decorative. It's extremely difficult to read. I think it's really difficult to read here too. Typographic color is really, really light. No contrast. I would use a sans serif there. I would also use a sans serif here. You don't want to set body copy in italic. It's too hard to read. The next thing I want to mention about your body copy is I would go 2 columns here, at least. Optimal character count, anywhere between 49 and 65 characters. That includes spaces and punctuation. Right here, you are well over 100 characters, maybe 120 in some of these lines. So you definitely want to create 2 text columns. maybe even 3. Count it out, see how that works out for you. But I think this would make a nice center line right there for the gutter of the 2 text boxes, so each one is roughly that big. Don't set in italic, as I said. Yeah, different typeface, definitely. And when you do, you're using old style numerals. That's fantastic. I think that's a great choice right there, but I just don't think that typeface is working. I don't think the italics are working either. Rags look good. All right, so other than that, I think those are my only questions, but this has come a long way. I think you're doing a really nice job. A couple of, few more tweaks, and I think we're ready to go. Oh, speaking of resolution, okay, that's low resolution. If we zoom in right here, and I'm just going to do this, we can see that that's a raster image, so that's definitely pixelated. You draw it yourself. Just go ahead and draw it in Illustrator, vectorize it, and so it's as crisp and clear as the letters. See what I'm saying? See how those are kind of jagged right there? You want them crisp and clear. So just go ahead and draw that yourself. Create the T yourself. All right. Any questions at all, please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify. Thank you.